Chloe Dobbs is with us. Here's a story, Chloe. Interesting one. Ed Miliband could lose his job in an up-and-coming cabinet reshuffle over concerns led by Rachel Reeves, apparently of all people, that his net zero plans threaten economic growth. The Energy Secretary has previously claimed that the drive for net zero would actually be a boost to the UK economy. Let's have a listen to Red Ed in full action.
The economics now point in the direction of clean energy. If you think about lots of the decisions that companies and countries are making, they recognise this is the single biggest job creator of our era.
Who recognises that, Chloe, when Ed says that as almost a matter of fact? I'm struggling to find who the people are that believe that.
I mean, this man with his little ukulele lives in absolute delusion. I think that Rachel Reeves, she is realising that it's either going to be him or her that has to walk the plank. So she better push Ed Miliband over the edge, because she is just desperate to deliver growth and do something good for the economy. There were all these promises before the election and it all quickly crumbled when we had that budget, which was originally going to be a budget for growth. And then she said, oh, it's going to be a painful budget. We had all these tax hikes and whatnot. And so she really needs something working in her favour, especially after all of the CV scandals and then this talk of an investigation into her and her previous job for lavish spending. It's really not looking very good for her. So for her to have the weight on her shoulder of a very, very costly net zero agenda of Ed Miliband's is not really good when she's, desperately counting the pennies in the coffers to try and afford all the spending that she needs to make without having to put up taxes more in an unpopular way again. I think that Ed Miliband, as I said, he lives in delusion. I agree with him that we need to have more clean energy in this country, but he's doing stupid things, like apparently he's going to be cementing over the last gas wells in this country.
I mean, why would you do that? Well, you wouldn't need... You'd go, hang on, let's just wait and see. That would be your way of approaching that, right?
I mean, it's just stupid. If we were in a position where we are now ready to be 100% reliant on renewables, absolutely fantastic. Fine, don't need the gas wells anymore. Yep. But we are nowhere near that. It's like a tiny percentage of our energy comes from renewables at the moment. So why are we going to ship them in from abroad when we've got them on our doorstep? It's absolutely bonkers. And when we had the energy bills, when it was announced that they're going to be going up, I think the cap's going up by, I think it's 111 quid a year, he then responds in a media interview saying, oh no, we're going in the right direction because we don't want to be becoming too reliant on Putin for energy and gas and whatnot. And I'm like, how can you say that when you've also just said that you're going to cement over our last gas wells?
Yeah.
Of course, that's going to make us more reliant on people like Putin for gas, because we don't yet have enough energy from the renewables yet. I don't know what planet this guy is living on, honestly.
It is quite extraordinary. And as you say, I don't know anybody who doesn't want cleaner energy. Everybody wants cleaner energy. Of course you can. If you can get energy, if you can get it cleaner and you can get it for free as well, just from the wind and the sun, we go, wow, that's like a miracle. Let's bring it on. I'll have some of that. But if your route to getting there is going to take 4 decades and make people bankrupt, then I think you have to really think about the method or your journey into the net zero super dream. Very briefly, 4 in 10 Brits think women's equality now discriminates against men, believing that it's gone too far. I don't know, can you have equality going too far? I mean, that's a contradiction, isn't it? Equality is equality, surely.
Well, it's now gone from equality to positive discrimination, right? So it's now the case you have some companies saying, oh, we're going to have 50% of our board must be women, or you'll even have some job roles advertised for women only, I think. And this is very problematic. Like, you might have an industry where the vast majority of applicants are men and there are only a handful of women who have applied, yet they make up 50% of the job roles because of quotas and whatnot. And that is unfair. That's often the case, taking someone who is a poorer quality candidate for the sake of taking a a woman, right? And especially if you're not just male, but you're white as well. It's like you've got no hope with job applications these days, because you fill out these applications and they'll ask you, are you gay? What's your gender? What's your ethnicity? And all of this. And if you can't tick any of those boxes, you feel like you've got no chance. You're going to be back of the pile. And I think that it's part of the mental health crisis we see amongst young men, because they feel like they're worthless. They're told that they're evil just for being white and male, and I think that something's got to change. Women's equality, people who have campaigned for it over the years, of course, they've done amazing things, absolutely fantastic, that I can work, I can have a bank account, I can buy a house if I had the money to do so, and all these other things, right? But there are some areas where it's definitely gone too far, so I understand why we've seen these figures in this poll.
The positive discrimination thing is really the story there, I sense. And finally, Meghan Markle's Netflix cookery show With Love Meghan has not had great reviews. It's been slammed as being pointless and bland, with no Oprah or Beckhams. She relied on appearances from minor celebrities and friends. Her estranged brother didn't hold back either, calling it embarrassing, accusing her of making up stories about their childhood. Let's have a listen, though, to Thomas Markle Jr., who spoke to Kevin O'Sullivan on Talk just last night.
Everybody's going to watch the first one, and it's going to be the worst critically acclaimed episode known to me. And it's probably not. It's not going to make it through there. Then what's going to happen is everybody who watched the first one is going to watch 5 or 6 minutes of the second one, and probably go commit themselves to a psychiatric funny farm, something like that.
Well, that's what the family say. It's not a great review, Chloe.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I haven't seen very much of it. I've only seen a few minutes of little snippets, and I have to say that was enough to absolutely bore me. It's just incredibly dull, and as you say, the A-list celebrities that she wanted to be involved in this, like Oprah, they're not interested because they recognise that Meghan is a very divisive, unpopular figure now, so they probably don't want anything to do with her on camera. And we've had this sort of professional split between her and Harry. He appears in a few shots, but not very many in this series, and I think she had the hopes that she was going to have this big, successful career as a consequence. But look, I don't know how many people have viewed the show already, but I doubt this was a smart financial investment on Netflix's
but then,
behalf.
of course, what then happens is that, whether people talk about it in tones like a brother or stepbrother, whatever it is, that we heard a second ago, or it doesn't matter, because many will now go, I've got to see this to see if it is as bad as some people are saying. So curiously, Netflix could be in a kind of win-win thing, whether it's good or bad. But we'll watch with it. My guess is this will be the last thing she does in some kind of Netflix exclusive. We will see. Chloe, there are more important things to talk about, of course. Thank you, Chloe Dobbs, political commentator